Hello and welcome back. It's Sunday, which means it's not League One live, it's Sky Bet League 2 live. Now, slightly different running order for you tonight. Now, with a low availability of League One fixtures, 3 games, we thought, why not jump on and do League 2 slightly earlier, Sunday night, prime time. So you're not missing on your Sunday night show like we usually would do. The Monday nights will be going back when the games are back to itself. So if you can see and hear me okay, let me know in the comments down below. But before we do so, before we come to your guys' comments, let's go and get my co-host in. It's the main man. It's JK Analysis. Hang on. There we are. How are we, son? You all right?
Yeah, thanks to you. Thanks for having me on for twice in the space of 6 days.
And mate, I'm gonna get sick of you. I'm gonna get sick of you. So League 2 live tonight, as you can tell, on there as well. 35 people already in the chat. Welcome to you. Welcome to the stream. Let us know who you support as well. Up the Vale and the Cods, a great result for Port Vale, which we will be coming to in a matter of a couple of minutes. 7 likes, haven't even said hello yet. Well, there we are. Hello. I actually have some interesting takes. He's a Bromley fan. Oh, welcome to the chat. Question does MK, do you think this win for MK Dons will now give them the confidence? We'll come back to that, Luca, as well. Tony's here as always. Hello, James. Hope we're well. CJ, how are we? No, Jack, it's not the CJ that you know. Don't get your hopes up, mate. He's on the bench for Northern Ireland at 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock Cods Vlogs. Hello, Nathan. You okay, mate? Up the Vale, up the Vale. A lot of Port Vale fans. Talk to me about your weekend, Jack. Did you go to a match this weekend?
Yeah, I thought I was going to see a Nick Horton masterclass, and I thought I was going to get a great prediction right, which I'm sure not a lot of people would have believed if I put it out there. But yeah, it was great to stand next to a very good drummer and also a very good League 2 content creator.
It's not often that. So Thursday, I interview Brendan Wirradu, the captain of the football club, and Ronan Coughlin, the striker of Fleetwood Town Football Club. And it's not often that you get to sit beside the most important and influential person at the football club and best striker in one, that they get to sit down, with Brendan Wirradu and Ronan Coughlin. So it was a good Thursday for me. That it was good for Brendan to finally meet me. No, it was good to do that. But a great weekend of Sky Bet League 2. 10 games, loads of goals. And we're going to start off with Port Vale. A great result for them. Now, away at Newport, who have won their last 3 games. They went slightly back to what they normally do. Jaden Stockley came in to the building and finally started his first league game, and finally with 2 goals for him. And he scored 14 and 59 for Fleetwood. He was a big player. The first goal came from a cross, and typical Stockley getting on the end of it. The second goal was a second ball, a second cross, scrambled into the goal as well. It was Aaron Wildig who did level the scoring after Stockley's first, who scored 3 and 3. He only scored twice in the whole of last season, so he's back to his goal in the last couple, and then his goal against Morecambe last week that ended up being the winner. And it was a good game, to be fair. Now, the one thing yesterday that Stockley did well, he won 13 duels for Port Vale. Now, Port Vale are a side that like to get the ball long and direct and into the strikers and get runners. And Peyton at 5'9", 5'10", just half a foot taller than young Jack here at 5'3". Wink, wink. They haven't been able to. We've got to get a joke in there. They haven't been able to maybe have as much joy. But with Stockley and the likes of Tollard up there, who are physical and have scored goals regularly in their respective leagues, and both have come from a League One and a National League, last season as well. It's a great result for them. Second win. In 10 over Newport. So kind of been a difficult time for them. Now you look at it, 24 shots yesterday, 7 on target. In the league, 9th in terms of shots on target, 4th in terms of the long balls, 9th in terms of shots on target, fifth in terms of goals, fifth in terms of expected goals. So they are getting there. They scored 6 in their last 2 games as well after a couple of draws. We'll know a lot more about this Vale side in the next one. Chesterfield, Aki and Swindon all to come. I think they've got to be looking at 7 points from there. Darren Moore was questioned last week after a tough day at the office against former club Doncaster. Great result. Chislett with his 12th goal in 60 for the football club, or in league games, 10 in 47. There was sending offs in the game, which did cause a bit of a riot, I will say. Now, Newport, look, it's the first defeat at home this season, and they were good at home last year. They won 9 of the 23 home games last year. But Jameson and Brennan getting sent off for different reasons. Jameson kicked the ball away. Stupid, absolute idiot. And then Brennan, foul, he just kicked out, didn't he? It's stupid, and it was rash, and it was just a bad day at the office for Newport. For Vale, brilliant.
Yeah, and the main factor, like I said, Jaden Stockley, he's a physical presence. Darren Moore said that it was after Stockley when, presuming he was when he was at Sheffield Wednesday, and then when he's linking up with Tollard, who got 2 assists and a goal, and then Stockley got 2 goals. You're just thinking, is this partnership really, really going to work? Rather than just having Payton, like you said, who's like a 5'10" figure who probably doesn't fit in Darren Moore's system, and that's the only positive really took out of the game against Doncaster, that about the adaptability that his squad had when they changed the system. And yesterday they went from the 5-4-1, which they normally go for, to a 4-2-3-1. And obviously they got Baker, I think Bowie in the squad, who was a live wire in the second half against Doncaster, and now he's got an assist. And I just think now they've got the both wins away. They just need to get Vale Park a real sort of a tough ground to go to, Vale Park. That's what they need to get. They need to get the home form running, because away teams going to Vale Park, it'll be one of their toughest games of the season. I think if Darren Moore can get the home form as good as the away form so far, I think Port Vale will sneak into the top 3. Where I'm sure a lot of people have got them.
Absolutely. And to keep your guys' comments coming as well. To comment, all you need to do is be a subscriber of Cos Vlogs, which is free to do so. Press subscribe and you're welcome to join in with the live chat. We will read it out and go through comments as well. 10 games to go through. Then we'll go through our August roundup. We've even got to look at some league tables as well. I've given in and done it after 5 games. 4 for some. 4 for some. I will rectify that there's some teams low down there for a reason. Not just because they've not been hit the heights yet as well. So again, keep liking the stream as well. Now, Chesterfield got their first home win in the EFL for about 6 years. Finally, the manager, Paul Cook, should be in trouble for that. Welcome return back to the Football League for Chesterfield. Now, drawn their previous 2 to Salford and Swindon, both 1-1. And I think in both games, they've scored first in it as well. And been unlucky, but this one, they finally got the cushion that they needed, the 2-goal cushion. And it was Grimsby who pinned them back on 2-1. Vernon got the goal. Grimsby, 3 away games, 3 defeats. So they had the second worst away record last year. That's carrying on. Chesterfield, good start at home.
Yeah, and Chesterfield, obviously, they would have wanted to get the first home win yesterday because just through Grimsby's inconsistency, they've lost one, now lost. I think last season it was a bit of a thing that they needed to improve on the consistency, and I think David Artell will want to do that and want to get the away record probably being better than it is. But they've had Notts County, Fleetwood. We sat behind the ball well and didn't really give them much, and then they got Chesterfield. Probably three hard away games. Obviously, we came down from League One. Not many teams will go to Notts County and get a point, I don't think, this season. And then at Chesterfield, I think they'll try and be strong at home. And and Berry for Chesterfield. He's returned to the EFL and he's got 4 so far this season. He's looked a real live wire. And then the winger on the opposite side, Mark Andy, who I was really surprised that he's dropped to League Two level from Blackburn.
Yeah.
He scored, and I think it was an important win of Chesterfield. They didn't get the point that they would have wanted against 10 men Gillingham after they hit the woodwork 3 times. But I just think that now they'll try and just get some form together. Obviously, they've only I think lost 1, but then they drew 2 at home, which really Salford at home you want to win. Opening day against Swindon you want to win. So I think it's a good result for Chesterfield. Grimsby, they shouldn't be too disheartened, but they do need to, get some points away from home, or I think that could really impact at where they finish.
Absolutely. Now, a great comment from JKB 91. I'm absolutely raging. We didn't beat Bradford as their fans are insufferable. But despite the results, it's one of the best Carlisle performances. And on statistics, it was a good performance for Carlisle. Now, going back, it was a good start. Now, how many times last year, Jack, to you at games on vlogs did I say big moments in games? And Carlisle have struggled with that as much as I've known that Fleet would have struggled with that. And it's a big chance. It's Charlie Wyke early on that has a chance that pulls it wide. It's really good work on the forehand side by Vela. Good work, Vela. Put together.
Surprise.
I know, yeah. It's a good ball. He puts it wide. And Charlie White yesterday, I think he hit the bar. I think the opening day against Gillingham hit the bar. I think he's at the post. It's just not rolling in for him at the minute. It's just not getting the look of the draw when it goes in. I think Charlie White will go on and scoring 5 and 5. I'll say that. And then a couple of minutes later, Andy Cook puts it away. Now, Andy Cook is probably not the most liked man by Carlisle United, obviously being at Bradford for a long time now. They've got this bit of a weird rivalry, Carlisle and Bradford, now via social media, of which, can I just say as well, 18,000 people in that ground yesterday. I think Carlisle took over 2,000 supporters, which is remarkable. They packed behind the goal and they had a bit on the side as well. Really, really good to see 2 proper football clubs at this level and historic football clubs. Great turnout, great atmosphere from both sets of supporters inside that ground from what I've seen. But going back, Andy Cook is a goal scorer, and he's proved that at Barrow early in his career. I think he got 67 in 169 games for Barrow. He scored 28 in 48 games 2 seasons ago. He played in every single game, this man. He scored 28 goals. He got 17 last year. He's already got 3 this year. He got a brace yesterday, and he got 1 against Bromley at home as well. That's 7 points in 3 home games for them now. And they've scored 5 goals at home. Last year, they only scored 29 home goals, conceded 28. They only won 9. It's Bradford at Vale Parade. 18,000. You think the ball sucks into the net. I'm going to these grounds thinking, it's counties, your Bradford's at this level. Even Carlisle next week thinking, it's hostile atmospheres. They're on you. And there's been so much better. I think they were top 3 away from home last year, Bradford. So the way they've turned that around and flipped it, Alexander's now won 50% of his games as Bradford manager, 21 out of 42, which is a really good as well. I thought, Lewis made 2, a double save, for the old Carlisle keeper, the old Bradford keeper going to Carlisle last year from Cook. And, it could have been even more. Cook gets the winner as well. And he's a good winner. Wright gets the assist. I think he got an assist against MK Dons on the opening day. But going back to Carlisle, lost all the away matches at Gillingham, MK Dons and Bradford. Look, if that's your top 3 at the end of the year, would you be so surprised? I don't think so. Now, going back, they've won 4 of their away games out of their last 26 matches. That is 15 points, tallying 0.57 points per game. And it's worrying. It really, really is. And they've only won 9 of the last 51. They've lost 34 of the last 51. That's 66% win-loss. A lot better yesterday, though. Jamie Jones could have scored. Charlie Wyke had a good couple of attempts as well. Look, the goal for them has come from a goalkeeper mistake from Sam Walker. I think Neil flicked it on as well. Overall, a good game, a scrappy game. Bradford look to be different this year. But Alexander sides normally start well, middle bit patchy, then end well.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Bradford because you can never tell with a manager's first league game, Mark Birch, what he's actually going to do. He changed his system from Simpson's 5-2-3 to 4-2-3-1. Bingham's as a second striker, and I just think Charlie White's still yet to score, and they were really happy about beating Bradford to Charlie White, and he's yet to score. I think Sada with Jay on one goal so far, and I just think at times they were a bit sloppy in possession. They made too many mistakes, which Bradford pounced on. They made a lot of chances, and I think they probably could have scored about 3 in the first half. Well, I think when Carlisle get the manager, you'll see improvements and I like you had that comment. There was improvements, and it was frustrating how they didn't get something from the game. I mean, the goal that they scored is a bit fortunate. Very poor goalkeeping from Walker. He was very frustrated with himself. But for Bradford, Alexander wanted improvements from the game against Grimsby. He got improvements. Andy Cook being a really good box finisher. And I just think that Bradford, like you said, they need to make Valley Parade a fortress. And so far they are doing. It's just when they go on the road, they want to keep the away record like they did last season. And then hopefully Bradford can have a really successful season.
This is the best comment I've seen for a long while. Bang on, Lewis, there. Now, I go to these grounds, and I'll tell you a little story now. I went to Portsmouth away last year thinking, right, we're in trouble. We need wins. We need points. I'll take a 0-0 here. And you go to these big clubs that expect the best thing you can do is frustrate them, is waste a bit of time. The referee gives a few decisions in your favour. That always helps. Always helps. Win a free kick or make them slow down the play a little bit and, make them kick the ball out or do little things that stop the rhythm of their play, stop them playing. And people can say it's gamemanship. No, it's not. It's enhancing your team to get to perform a result away at a big football club that are better than you. And I remember being stood there after 25 minutes laughing. No, even 40 minutes against Portsmouth in League One. And Bradford are the same, thinking, we've got them. The fans are on the back. As soon as those fans got on the players' back, as an away fan, I'm thinking, brilliant, job done. 4 minutes later, they get a penalty and score it. And you're thinking, but then we get back in at 1-1, and then again they're booing. So if you can keep in games away at Valley Parade, Notts County, Swindon, these clubs that get on your back, you are in games as an away fan, especially in League One and League Two. So I totally agree there. But Notts County, almost perfect at home. They're starting to put a real run together, aren't they? They've won their last 3 games now. Now, winning at home against Grimsby, going away to Swindon and winning, and then beating Accrington. Look, you could realistically say if Notts County want to go up, they should take 9 points. They've taken 11 points from the first 15. They'd have taken that all day. Let's be honest about it. Probably disappointed they didn't beat Fleetwood or didn't maybe nick something at Tranmere where it was a scrappy game and nobody's scoring against Tranmere at the moment, and deservedly so. David McGoldrick had 5 shots on target yesterday. The other players for Notts County had 3, and Accrington had 3. David McGoldrick has now scored the last 4 goals for Notts County, Jack. Notts County 2, Accrington 0.
David McGoldrick can just walk into Notts County's squad, not even being first choice striker, and then the calibre of goals he popped 2 in at Swindon, almost the same than he did for the first one. It was another curler, and if you're having someone like him who's a bit of a rotation player, then you've got to utilise his strength, and Notts County has certainly done that, and they've started the season at like they did do last season. And I think it was impressive. Obviously, against Accrington, you're thinking, yeah, they should beat him. But then they had no Jody Jones. Don't I know about it? Captained him in my fantasy. Also had Crowley in my fantasy. He weren't playing either. And then they didn't
I got
have
blood as well.
Yeah, and they didn't have centre forward Jata. And also they're a quarter of the way there to matching last season's clean sheet record. So the signings that they made at the back. They're still trying to improve in the defensive aspect. They brought Bass in. They got Bordeaux, who got an assist, and also Platt. And I just think that Notts County, that they can really form something special this season if Stuart Maynard gets it right. They backed him in the summer, and he's a young and up and coming coach. He plays the style that Notts County want him to play. I just think it's all in place for Notts County to have a successful season. And for Accrington, they didn't score a goal, which I'm surprised about, really, because of how decent they've been going forward. But then they still conceded the most of 13 goals. And I think for Accrington, they've got Crewe next. They need to get their first win. And I think it's Colchester. They were unlucky not to get 3 points, but being at home against Crewe, they just need to get the first 3 points on the board, and then John Doolan can work his way from there. Because personally, I don't think Accrington have been a bad side this season.
No.
People might disagree. It's just that the other end of the pitch where they need to switch on. I thought maybe the experience of Farron Rawson being brought in might help them a bit.
Yeah, 100% there. I think Accrington are just missing a presence at the back, if I'm honest with you. I think it's Hills, Brad Hills, who was on loan for Norwich last year, missing him a little bit at the back as well. Are you worried about Accrington defensively, Jack? Because I think it's 13 goals conceded now in five games. That is alarming. And I know they play some good side. Harrogate conceding 3 there. Notts County. Even in the Cup to Tranmere, they conceded 3 as well. And Newport 3. They are creating chances. They are in games. I'll ask you this. Would you rather be in Accrington or Morecambe situations after 5 games? Because I think I'd look at it and think, look, Morecambe are a mess off the pitch. We know that. But on it, I'd be thinking, Morecambe, I think there's more positives there because they are in game. They have lost all 5 games 1-0, and I think Morecambe should have minimum won 1 and minimum got 2. I think Morecambe probably should be sat now on 5 points from their first 5. That's how unlucky I think they have been. Whereas Accrington, I'm thinking, yes, they were good against Newport, but they conceded 3. I feel like Morecambe overall with Derek Adams over John Doolan will be in a better place.
Yeah, I think also at Morecambe, they got the win in midweek. I know it's a Bristol Street Motors Cup and Wigan changed the squad, but Morecambe, I think, should not have a feel-good factor about them because obviously they haven't won yet and they haven't scored yet. But like I said, they're not drifting away in games. They're not getting battered. They're staying in games. And it's just the determination that they need. Nick a goal early, and then if you 1-0 up till half time, just go out in the second half, get another one, then just defend. And because ultimately they're not conceding many goals. And I think for Accrington, it's a different case. They're scoring goals, but they're also conceding goals. And I think it will be hard for them to tune out the defensive errors. Sort of, I think the goal they conceded against Colchester, it was just bad. It was poor awareness and bad marking, but it was because Walton, their right wingers, are defending Goodliff, who's a really knowledgeable player in the box for Colchester. So I probably would want to be in Morecambe's situation, but personally, I'm not too worried about either side.
Barrow 1, Swindon 1. I've never seen anything like it. Now, when I get a text of someone who's at the Barrow game going, we could be in for a long second half, I'm thinking, look, you 1-0 up, 10 men. I thought, nothing that I thought. Paul Farmer got sent off. I thought, no goalkeeper on the bench. Now, they don't think they have an academy goalkeeper on the bench. I don't think they had an academy goalkeeper available, right? And how often? That's a 1 in 1,000 chance, probably. And this is a message to Ian Everett, who sometimes, now and again, doesn't decide to put a substitute goalkeeper on the bench. Play with a substitute goalkeeper always, because what if? Believe me, it's not worth the risk, right? So going back now, Barrow, look, played 50 minutes with Foley in goal, the defender, and he did very, very well. 10 points from 5 games is really, really good, especially the sides he had beaten. Lost to Carlisle, beat Port Vale, great win, beat Harrogate, beat Crewe on the opening day, then drew here. Should be 12. They conceded in the 100th minute to a Butterworth goal. You know, I think that's Butterworth's 10th goal in 102 games. It's a really good strike. We'll get on to the other striker in a minute. Unbeaten at home, another positive as well. 7 points from the last 3. Now, I really like this Barrow side. I feel like it's a real squad. It reminds me a lot of Fleetwood, but further on. They know where they want to go. They know who they are. They train miles away from Barrow, but I feel that can only help them because they're in the middle of nowhere and they have to travel a long miles together. And that can, as a squad, can bring you together as well. Now, Jed Garner is a player that scored 15 goals for Fleetwood in, I think, 79 appearances. And, they've got the second best defence. Clements has gone in there and made them hard to beat, hard to break down, but also they look like they can score goals. In the second half, Swindon go down to 10 men. Harry Smith, who's been known to do that before, I think against Barrow as well. They have 78% of the ball, Swindon, still 10 against 10. But because of Barrow, I've got this defender in goal. Barrow's second half goals is 0.02. And it takes 55 minutes for Swindon to break them down. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Mark Kennedy. I think his football is quite negative and pragmatic. And draw if you can. Now, I went through the stats. Now, their away record last year was 3 wins, 7 draws, 13 defeats. Well, they've drawn 3 away games this year. Away at Chesterfield, away at Crewe, away at Barrow now. And Kennedy's record in management is at, I think, 92 games. He's drawn 33 games, lost 33, won 26. Large part of that at Lincoln as well. Shamanga, their centre forward, their number 9, scored 7 in the National League last year. Bear in mind, right, you're away from home. They've got a defender in goal. Their number 9, their talisman that you would think that's going to score them 50 goals. He had 9 touches in 90 minutes. 9! Like, this isn't just passes. This could be, the ball's flicked off. There's 1. 9 touches. Actually, 100 minutes with added on. Bear in mind, he had 16 in 26 minutes last week at home to Notts County. That just shows you the level. Look, they've got Newport, Carlisle and Vale coming up. It could be a worrying period for them. I don't know what to think of this Swindon side. Barrow, brilliant, and well done to Foley for going in goal. And he actually made some stunning saves. I tell you what, we need a backup keeper.
Yeah. And I think Swindon fans probably didn't know what Mr. Unicorn was like, but I think they might have got a bit of a taster yet. But if you Barrow, you're gutting that you've held on for about 50 odd minutes, and then it's a 90 plus 8th minute equaliser from outside the box to beat. And fair play for Feely for going in goal. And I think for Barrow, it has been a very good start, and I think they've probably surprised me the most. There's a really energetic side. Clements, I didn't really like him at Gillingham, but so far he's got this Barrow side playing. Everyone just complements each other in the system. I like that Chiarte out wide. He's physical, but he's also tricky. Jed Garner's got 2 for the season now. Very, very good finish from Jed Garner. And I just think that he's lacked goals in his whole career. I think his highest scoring season was 21-22 season under Simon Grayson and Stephen Craney. And I think he's only scored 4 for Barrow.
Yeah.
He's had 2 half seasons at Barrow.
And scored 2 goals in every season.
So he's not had a full season yet.
So I think he's already got his best season. Joint.
I think Barrow's centre forward options are quite strong. You got Dom Telford, Aqua. Chiarte can also play in the centre forward role. Then you got Jed Garner who can chip in too. So yeah, I do like Barrow.
I think Aqua is one of the best finishers in League Two. Giving him a chance.
He's finished against Paul Vale was great.
Put him through on goal 100 times. I'd back Aqua 90 out of 100. He's genuine. I think he's really good.
Yeah, and then with Swindon, Harry Smith, you can't really nudge someone, can you? And properly elbow them, especially when your team's trying to get back in it. But and then I think for Swindon, I've been surprised that they haven't started well. I know that you said about Mark Kennedy, but I think his record, he went to Lincoln and they were a side that wanted just to be hard to beat, especially at home. That's why he's had so many draws. And I just think the recruitment from Swindon has been good. Will Wright created 4 chances from centre half yesterday with 26 passes in the final third. So if you have a player with that quality, you can step forward. You've got Gavin Kilkenny in the midfield who can be progressive at times. A really good technical player. And then I just think in that situation you've got to win. I know they got a point away from home, but with a right back in goal, you surely got to score 2 when they had. Was it 10 shots? Was it or something? They had 78% of the ball anyway.
He had
When your
4 shots
strikers
on
having,
target in that second half.
yeah,
Like,
and
it
then when
wasn't
you
like the keeper hadn't made a save. Like, one of the free kicks, he actually dived and poked it past the post. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, you couldn't write it. Really, really good.
And then when your striker's getting sent off in the 65th minute and your other striker's having 9 touches, you've got to do better.
People say that strikers have less touches, but you want more from your centre forward.
Yeah.
And I get that they don't, but 9 touches, 15 touches, yeah. 20 touches, yeah. But I want more. And I do really like what this Barrow side are building. They're building something quite special and unique where they aren't going to be favourites to win every week, but they've got a good base. They've got a good core fan base as well. And, fair play to them. Now, we'll go to MK Dons. Now, possibly goal of the day. Now, it started off from the back and 20 passes. And Callum Henry, who came from Salford, lost to Salford in the week as well, which I'm sure we'll get on to while you're discussing. Look, Walsall's 2 defeats have come away at Tranmere on MK and lost 1-0, and they stayed in the game. MK Dons, it was vintage MK Dons for the goal. They didn't create loads and loads of opportunities, but slowly 2 wins in 3. Look, it's been a frustrating start, 6 points from 5. But all the new bedding in, all the new players, I think they take it. It's a good win. Talk me through it.
I think for MK Dons, it was good for them to win. Obviously, they didn't create as much, like you said. I think their TikTok admin, by the way, needs a pay rise for what he did about the Roy Keane over voice. But I think Roy Keane was a bit right. You've got to just lump it up the pitch and do something
Oh,
to scrap
mate,
your
genuinely,
principles.
we'll get on to. I'll let you discuss, but I've got a bit of a rant on that.
All right, and then I'm happy for Liam Kelly because the goal that Salford scored, he practically just didn't go for it. I don't know what he was doing there, and I think that's where MK might struggle a bit. They don't have a destroyer in the midfield. Only Lehman High Evans, who's a good ball and duel winner, and then you've got Kelly or Carroll, the technical players that won't get as stuck in as he will. But yeah, I'm happy that Kelly got the assist. Just because obviously he would have been to blame for the goal he conceded against Salford, and I think for MK Dons had a bit of an inconsistent start, and when you get a proper MK Dons going, just having the same patterns of play, it can really hurt teams. They don't know what to do. They did it against Carlisle, and they beat Carlisle. Was it 3-0 or 3-1?
3-1.
Yeah, and they got Wimbledon away next. I think this win at home, they got a clean sheet. They'll go into Wimbledon and they'll be more confident than if they maybe drew to Walsall. And MK Dons sometimes don't really like Williamson at times. They're questioning him a bit. And I think, he's a young manager. He's playing a play style that is brave, and then it does make individual mistakes. And for Walsall, they grew into the second half more. And they've had 2 1-0 losses. They've both come away. Probably need to maybe get on the front foot more. But then they've had Cleary, Johnson, Matt, and Adoma all on the bench. And then they started Earing up front, who's not really an out and out centre forward. So maybe that's where the problems lied for Walsall. But good win for MK Dons. They're going into a massive game against Wimbledon, and they need to be up for it. And hopefully, for their sake, they can make it 2 wins on the bounce.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially after the last one where Ronan Curtis. My favourite part of that game was when who was it? I think one of the Wimbledon players just twatted it into the away end at the MK Dons fan just to wave at him. I thought that was hilarious. So for me, I'm a big believer. You asked me what play styles I like, and I think it's geographically as well. MK Dons want that style of football. I don't know. I think you're more of you like the playing out from the back. You like the building from the back. For me, I like Phil Parkinson. I like, Steve Evans at times as well. Phil Parkinson, I think, is the most style of football I like. And people go dinosaur football. It's not. It has been at Bradford and Bolton, but the way Wrexham play football, it fascinates me. I know that's League One. Look, if they have 35, 40% possession, I can deal with that, right? I don't want 19. That's not enough. I want 35, 40, 45. But I want to get the ball quickly out to my wing backs, quickly up the pitch, get crossed into the box, get strikers into the box and score me an header, preferably a diving header, get cut while you're doing it because it looks better. But I want midfielders to play forwards and run forwards. I want them to get into the box. I want my fullbacks on the heels. I want my centre halves high up the pitch. I want to play gun-ho football. I want to attack. I want chance after chance. I want to think that, right, an opportunity is coming. I don't like this slow playing out from the back where teams are pressing you because I don't think it suits some teams. For Fleetwood, I think that we are in a transition and we're getting there. But for me, that's my style of football that I want. So we'll move on from that. Cheltenham, both home wins that they have got, well, both 6 points they've got, have come at home. Both have been winners in the last minute at home. Now, it was Bradbury with the goal, his second goal for the football club. Luke Young with another assist as well. They've got some tough games coming up away at Salford, away at Chesterfield, and at home to Fleetwood. You'd be thinking, Josh was saying they think it's going to be strong at home this year, struggle away. That's been the method of the madness. They won 2 of the 3 home games and lost the 2 away games away at Grimsby and Walsall. But yes, they 53% of possession, only the 0.27 expected goals, 11 shots. They played Harrogate now, who their last 3 games, they've all been, 1-0. A win away at Colchester, defeat last week would have hurt them at home to Barrow, set piece. And then again, late on, they switched off. They just thought it'd be a good point for them. They've got some tough games. Doncaster, Crewe and Bradford all to come. 2 home games there. Look, they beat Bradford at home 3-0 last year. They'll be thinking, Doncaster, a bit of a local rivalry there, but Doncaster in good form. But Newport beat Doncaster when you thought it was going to be a write-off Doncaster win. Harrogate's expected goals, 0.99, just shy of a goal. 13 shots. It was a pretty even game. When you look at Harrogate, 17th in terms of goals scored, 15th best defence, 19th in terms of possession, 5th lowest expected goals, 15th in kind of, chances created. Look, that is where Harrogate want to be, in that range. Unfortunately, the results aren't going their way at the minute. Ellis Taylor hit the bar from a dead ball situation. And then you're thinking, Daly has a good chance saved. Couple of opportunities that I thought if any team was going to win the game before the last minute goal, it would be Harrogate. Disappointing one, Flon, but a good win for Michael Flynn's Cheltenham side. They needed it after a good start, faded away with 3 kind of defeats. Good response.
Yeah, I think Harrogate, I'm not really sold on them. I thought, they didn't let too many key players go, except from Oddo. And I think that's probably where the problems lied. And they only signed 3 other players. And I thought just keeping your core players that have done well at this level, they've got you sometimes in a top half finish. I thought that would be all right for Harrogate, but just not a great start for them. They've not scored in the last 3 games in all competitions. They obviously I think they scored 4 goals this season. 3 came against Accrington, but let's face it, Accrington have conceded the most. I think a lot of teams will put a bit past Accrington so far.
Fleetwood 0, Accrington Stanley 1.
Do not clip it. But I think there's no real clear-cut chances created. Obviously, they hit the bar from the free kick. I think Daly was a good threat for them on the left. He was dropping deep and carrying the ball. And they probably would have took a 0-0 draw away at Cheltenham. And then Cheltenham, at home, I think they need to be a bit more convincing. They've obviously won their match in stoppage time twice now. But it's the first clean sheet. And yeah, I just think they need to make the games less scrappy at home. Obviously, score, but then be switched on defence, which they can do because they've got Sam Stubbs, who's played quite a few games at this level. They've also got Bennett, I think 33, they signed from Newport, and then they've also got Bradbury, who got the only goal in the game. It was a great delivery from Young. And I just think, yeah, Cheltenham, they've got the players to switch on defensively, experienced players, and they got the clean sheet. They just need to do it more often and just be more of a threat going forward. Maybe Tom Pett, Jude Boyd, obviously, who's on international duty, and then also Colwell, who was on international duty too. Another one that was in my fantasy, and I didn't quite know that he was a Welsh international. But yeah, they just need to be more of a threat going forward, and then just maintain this, hopefully, clean sheet for them.
Absolutely. Colchester won, Bromley won. Bromley 11th after 5 games, 2 wins, 2 draws. Sorry, 2 wins, 2 defeats, and then a draw. Colchester United, just by the way, the same point as Fleetwood, my underdogs. Fleetwood League One last year. Just showing you that they're coming good. A good point for Colchester after being, down for large periods. Michael Cheek, penalty, 3 goals for him, and I think that he'll get double digits. I think Michael Cheek will score anywhere between 12 and 16 goals this year. The relatively figure that he always scores in the last kind of 12 seasons. And Bromley get a late sending off in the football match as well. In terms of statistics, Colchester dominate the ball. You are going to do that with a squad that they've got, the likes of Teddy Bishop, Jack Payne, another assist for the ball. I think that's 4 goal comps now for him so far as well. Lyle Taylor, Harry Anderson. They've got a really good side, and it's at what point this Colchester team may be underachieving a little bit. But Bromley sat in, and if anyone had the better chances, it was Bromley. They had the better expected goals. They had more shots. I think they had the similar shots on target, similar shots. So it's a good point. Bromley would have taken this. Sending off at the late on would have bit disheartening for them. But look, the first month of being in the EFL side, they've got 7 points. They've beaten Wimbledon live on Sky. They won their opening day of the season as well. Away from home, away at Harrogate, a club that they'll be competing with at the wrong end, unfortunately. I think Bromley can stay in this division. I really do. They've been to Bradford. They've lost a couple of games, don't get me wrong, and going to, Colchester, 7 points, great base.
Yeah, encouraging sign for Bromley. I think they have got the right players to do so. They had a front three of Dinanga, who scored 26 for Gateshead last season. Michael Cheek, I think, for the past 10 seasons, he hasn't scored
failed to score under
15, is it?
Failed to score under 13 in the last 12, yeah.
And then they've got Whiteley, who I think is a real nuisance. Both of them, Cheek and Whiteley, are 33 years old, but they're still putting a shift in. They're still making a step up from National League to League Two and not showing their age. They're battling hard, and they're being 2 type of strikers, which you'd expect from a non-league club coming up to League Two. And for the goal they conceded, it was Paul. There was no marker at the back post where Edwards came. And I just think for Bromley, if they just maybe switched on a bit because they want to be resolute defensively, and if they switched on, they could have maybe got an away win because Colchester yet to properly get going from what the Carlisle brothers want from Colchester. Obviously, the first full season, they've got Morecambe next. Probably need to get the second win of the season there. But then you're looking at the strikers. Taylor, I know he's only played 2 games, but Tovide, Hopper, Gordon, yet to both, for 4 of them in League Two to score. And you're thinking when you've got the quality of Jack Payne and Teddy Bishop behind them, you're thinking, well, you've got to get some goals there. But then you've got Goodliff at centre half who scored half of their goals so far. And I just think if they get the result against Morecambe, it could start going for Colchester because like I said, they've got the quality to be a real threat and achieve the underdog label that you put them as. And I think they can do that, get a comfortable mid-table finish. But it's just about getting the strikers scoring because they've got 4 decent ones there. Lyle Taylor hasn't been in League Two for a while. Has he ever been in League Two in his career, Lyle Taylor? If so, he hasn't been there for a while. But he hasn't been there for a while anyway at Wimbledon. And I just
his
think
attitude was a problem at Cambridge. His attitude.
Yeah, he fell out with them big time. and with the creativity behind there, Bishop and Payne linking off each other really, really well. I think you've got to get some goals out of the front two that they'll start.
Now, what I'm about to say will get laughed at. You can clip it up and you can call me deluded, right? Morecambe Football Club, the squad they've got has been put together on a shoestring. Look, I went through the squad. Their front line yesterday, Lee Angle scored 2 in 27 in the National League and League Two. His 2 goals came from Sutton, who got relegated, and he went out on loan to the National League. Slew got 8 goals, 5 assists. Fair enough. Good goal return. Been poor this year. Harvey McAdam played 3 times for Fleetwood and got loaned out to Waterford, where he didn't really make an impression. Didn't even score. G1 Edwards scored 3 in League Two last year in 22 games. Marcus Dacus played 3 times for Salford, and Salford fans were delighted to get rid of him. Ben Tollett scored 4 in 13 in the National League North. They've got a good base. They've got players that want to be at the football club that are fighting for each other. And when you've got that, you've got some spirit. But at some point, the quality isn't there. Now, Walsall away opening day of the season, everyone would have gone for a Walsall home win with what's going on. Then they back it up. You know, Gillingham at home. Gillingham at home is a tough game. Gillingham are a good side. They lose 1-0. That Walsall way they deserve to lose. What Gillingham at home, I think they deserve to get a point from. And Gillingham nick a goal late on. I'd say they shaded the game of an even game. It wasn't a great game. Probably deserved at minimum a point. They go away at Doncaster, who are unbelievable. And it's like, get a grip. Like, they won the last 8 league games last year before the playoffs, and they've won the first 3 games. They've won the last 11 league games at home. But you get it, Doncaster, have a day off, you're good at home. You know, it's 1-0. It's a mistake by the goalkeeper, playing back to the goalkeeper more. Newport, the same. It's a mistake playing back to the goalkeeper. They are the better side in that game of football. They should have drawn it or possibly won it. Yesterday, away at Crewe, they are the better side in that game of football. They create the better chances. I think Lee Angle has one that's very well saved by the goalkeeper. You know, I think in the first half, Slew had a couple of opportunities, and it's like it's just not fallen to them at the moment. And you look at the underlying statistics, 10th best defence. The bottom of the league, they've lost all 5 games, all by 1-0. Top of the league, Doncaster have conceded 6. Morecambe at bottom have conceded 5. Derek Adams will get sides well drilled, hard to beat. And that's good, but you need an outlay. And my issue is when they start scoring, will they start conceding 2s and 3s, which I think will happen. 20th in terms of expected goals, 23rd shots on target, 15th most possession, 10th in most possession, 15th in terms of passes per game. They are in games. They are creating opportunities. They're not great, don't get me wrong. Their next few games are massive. Colchester at home is a huge game for the football club. Then you've got to go to Fleetwood away, where they've had special moments in the past as well. Then you've got Notts County, Bradford. It doesn't get any easier. It really doesn't. And Derek Adams has said, I've been in around squads. This is a good squad. This is a good spirit. And he believes in it. They were unlucky yesterday, and it will get better. Jason Whittingham needs to get selling that football club, because I actually respect Morecambe. In terms of Crewe, look, they lost the first 3. They backed it up. Now, you could also say that, lost the first 2. They've got 7 points. 7 points from the last 3. They've kept 2 clean sheets. Won away at Bromley 2-1. Scored 4 without reply. 6 points from the last 2. 6 shots on target. Over, and expected goals are over 1 as well. In terms of expected goals, they are still low. They're still the 3rd lowest shots on target per game, but slowly getting there. And the next few games, Accrington, Harrogate and Newport, they'd start to think, if we can build a good base here, not to get too far ahead of yourself, they're going to get 7 points from that. All of a sudden, you're on 14 points from 8 games. You're near the playoffs.
Yeah, and when Morecambe, like I said, they're in games, but it's just about putting the ball in the back of the net. And you're looking at the forward options, you're thinking, can they do that? Harvey McAdam apparently has started the season well for Morecambe, which he could maybe chip in with a few. I know he scored minimal for Fleetwood, and I weren't his biggest fan, to be honest, but just stepping down a division where he's not got a lot of expectation on him. Because he's at a club where they are expected to be down there. I think maybe he could chip in with a few sort of playing as a second striker behind either Angol or Hallam Hope. Then you go into Crewe, and you've got one of the best centre backs in the league, to be honest, in my opinion. Mickey Dimitri, captain, won 12 duels. He cleared the ball 14 times, and then he got a clean sheet for his side. We've got back-to-back wins now. Like you said, they've got Accrington and Harrogate, and you're thinking Crewe can now go on a decent run of form after getting annihilated by Chesterfield. They got beat by Barrow, who were a good side as we've seen so far this season, and now that's obviously the second clean sheet. I don't think it's a bad. Obviously, Morecambe's lost a game of football, but like you said, they've not uh, obviously got a point yet, and sometimes it does feel like they deserved it. Like I said against Gillingham, it was a bit harsh because in the first half they capitalised on a few Gillingham mistakes, and they have 13 shots compared to Crewe's 6. So you're thinking maybe get even Jordan Slew out just up front because he's playing on the left. Just maybe get him maybe more involved in the front line. And I think also that win against Wigan in midweek will help them a lot. I know it's against. Well, I know that Wigan changed the side a lot, but just gaining a bit of momentum. They know that they've got to win, and then against Colchester, they've not started the season well, and surely against Colchester, they've got to get something, or else Morecambe could be on for 6-1-0 losses in a row.
Yes, we'll come back to some questions. So get your questions in. Final game I left to you. Now, Gillingham, in their last 2 away games, have had 1 shot on target in each, 6 in the first 3. And we've mentioned that Gillingham's problems a little bit. They remind me a lot of last year where they won the first 4 games 1-0. And they didn't, a bit like Morecambe, they weren't really creating much, but they were winning games 1-0 and getting on the winning side that Morecambe aren't right now. And yesterday, a game that they probably would have nicked 1-0 last couple of weeks ago, they've gone to a really good side in Doncaster, and Billy Sharp has scored. It's a really, really good goal. Ages like fine wine, him, and he's going to be massive for them. I think that's 3 goals now and an assist. Great win for Rovers. 11 straight home wins straight in the league.
Yeah, I think a few people may have thought, oh, they got beat by Newport 3-1 at home, but then they bounced back with a clean sheet at home against Morecambe. Wasn't the best performance that they put out, but then against Port Vale, they put 3 past them at Vale Park, and then they beat a Gillingham side that will be tough to break down, and they actually conceded more of the ball than what I thought they would. Also, shout out to Jay McGrath, who I think has done reasonably well when he's come through this season. Alongside Anderson, who's obviously the experienced face.
We've got a new Matty Craig. Oh, here we go. 41 games of this.
McGrath.
We've only just got over Matty Craig, mate.
No, we've got Owen Bailey and Luke Molyneux.
Billy Shaw. Yeah. This man is a Doncaster fan. That man's got a Doncaster. Mate, we can admit it. I'm a secret Porter fan. I can say that now. Play at Pompey, but you are a secret Doncaster fan, you aren't you?
Well, I would say could one of them send me a free shirt in the post, but I don't really like the home shirt, so I'll pass on that. But no, Doncaster won 3 in a row. Jordan Gibson is contributing 4 goal contributions. They had an unchanged 11 to Port Vale, and you're just thinking Westbrook is now sort of the new Matty Craig, being the 6, and then you've got Starman Owen Bailey linking up sort of on the right, and then with Luke Molyneux, and then Billy Sharp. Some people question, would he score? Of course he can. He'll bring a lot of experience in the dressing room and get the young lads up, but then just stick him in the 6-yard box. Get Luke Molyneux or Gibson out wide, or maybe Harry Clifton if he goes out wide, and Billy Sharp will score your goals. And then they've also not. And then Doncaster's all got Joe Ironside, who scored 20 last season. So
their attacking options are a joke. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
they let Miller go as well. I was saying this at the start. We probably can. I tell you what, competitive decision. Joe Ironside comes to Fleetwood. Meepo, Tommy Lonigan, maybe goes out and gets some experience. Come in, we'll swap
Yeovil.
them around. We'll do a swap. Clifton the Biggins replacement. Bertie Biggins. Up the imps. There we are. Right. So before we go into it, now I hate doing this. We are going through the League Two table. Now, we are only doing this because it's the end of the month, basically, for August. We should have done it last month, but I thought, right, we'll do it in the international break, 5 games in. We will not look at this until the 15th, 16th, the 23rd, the 30th, till either the 30th of September or the 7th of October. So we will not look at it. We're only going to look at it every month. And then when it gets past near Christmas, we'll start looking at it, more often. So we'll look at the table, then we're going to go through it. This show's probably going to be going for 15 more minutes, so get your comments in. Superb support tonight. Please like the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. It does go a long, long way. Now, the League One table, we'll go from the bottom here. Now, Morecambe, bottom of the division, on 0 points, 0 goals. Fellow Lancashirians, Accrington Stanley on 2 points. Carlisle on 3, Swindon on 3, all coming from 3 draws. Harrogate, Salford, Colchester. Just quickly, in a quick summary, Jack, if I was to say to you at the start of the season that Salford, Harrogate, Swindon, Carlisle, Accrington and Morecambe, I only think Carlisle are the imposter there, that I think that, hang on a minute, that's not right.
Yeah. Well, I said Swindon in top half, and I think I was one of the
Did
few
you?
people who said that. Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway, we've still got 41 games left. Also playoffs
Yeah.
if Swindon do go on a bit of a run. But no, really hope that bottom 2 stays the same.
Yeah, they are the views of JK analysis, not those of COD vlogs. We try to say it politely. 6 goals involvement for Fleetwood after last season, the way we conceded. Fleetwood have yet to score a goal at home in the 2 Carabao Cup games and the 2 league games, the real games that matter, in front of me at the Memorial end. So I'm motivated for that. 2 home wins for Grimsby, conceding 10 in the process. And you look at it, where we've got the best defence in the bottom half, Jack. Come on. MK Dons with 2 wins in their last 3, and Crewe are flying up there as well, and Cheltenham good at home. Looking at the top half then, Port Vale into the top 12, 7 points from their first 5. And look, these sides that come down are always going to start slow. You look at it, Port Vale, I think, are the highest out of the clubs that have come down. And one thing that if there's a theme here of clubs, Doncaster Rovers came down from League One a long time ago. This is the 3rd season, I believe, now in this division.
Yeah.
They came down in 21-22, and they are up there. Gillingham came down in 21-22. They are up there. Bradford came down in 2017. They are up there. Walsall came down in 2017. They 2020, I think Walsall came down, or 2019 Walsall came down, and they are up there. Wimbledon came down in 21-22. They are up there. So you've got clubs that have been at this level for a few years now. Bromley doing really well. Tranmere's defensive installments have done them well. Chesterfield, great start. Few draws, not been, if they could turn draws into wins, they'll be right up there. That'll be the difference if they don't draw too many. Talk to me about the start so far.
A few that have surprised me. Didn't think Walsall would be strong. Didn't think Tranmere would be this strong, even though people told me otherwise, and I didn't really get the hype around Tranmere. Port Vale and MK Dons, sort of a shaky start. Obviously, my top 2. And then you're thinking, obviously, MK Dons, like I said, the play style, it's going to bring a few problems when obviously they don't get the intensity right and all that kind of stuff. Colchester, I thought it might have started a bit stronger. Cheltenham, I think, are probably where I'd put them in terms of fall that came down. Fleetwood, probably the same. We've got a game in hand over 21 other teams, is it, or 20 other teams, and Carlisle, I'm surprised about, but not surprised that that Simpson's gone already. So I think. Oh, actually, no. The most surprising one's Barrow. I did not think they start the season as well they have done, and I didn't expect Clements to be getting the best out out of the squad like he has done. So, yeah, that's my verdict, and a lot can change.
Absolutely. Right. Score predictions, then we're going to come into a Q&A. So, Harrogate Town against Doncaster. Oh, that's Thursday. I'll be watching that, I
Yeah.
think. Of course you knew about it. Will you be there at the in the away end at the exercise stadium?
No, I'm not watching it, unfortunately. I think I've got a banning order from watching Doncaster Rovers from my followers on over on Twitter. I don't think they like the hype what I get around certain clubs.
No. So, Harrogate against Doncaster. I'm going to go for Harrogate 1, Doncaster Rovers 2.
Harrogate 0, Doncaster 3.
Play along at home if you fancy as well. AFC Wimbledon against MK Dons. I'm going to go for AFC Wimbledon 2, MK Dons 1.
1-0 draw there.
Yeah. 8 of the last 15 meetings have won by MK Dons. Swindon Newport. I'm going to go for 2-1 Swindon. They've got to win eventually, haven't they?
Yeah, Swindon will get the first 3 points of the season. Harry Smith suspended, so Butterworth and Shimanga up front. 1-0 Swindon.
There you are. To be fair, Swindon were good at home last year. Accrington Crewe. I'm going to go for 1-0 Crewe.
2-2.
2-2. Bromley, Notts County. I'm going to go for 1-1. I think Bromley will take
2-1 Notts.
I think Bromley will take any point, really, if they can keep building points and getting Carlisle Fleetwood. Now, little statistic here for you. I've been to 3 away games with Jack Kershaw. Blackpool 1, Fleetwood Town 0. And then Wrexham 1, Fleetwood Town 0. AFC Wimbledon 1, Fleetwood Town 0. Carlisle managerless. Carlisle 1, Fleetwood Town 0. I'm just saying it so the streak ends. So I'm a big believer that I can either be right than saying 1-0, or I can be happy that I can predict a Fleetwood win and we'll, but I'm very rarely happy, but I'm always normally right. So, and I prefer being right than happy. So I'm going to go for Carlisle 1, Fleetwood 0, but I do want us to win.
I'm doing a pre-match report for Charlie Adam, which I hope he'll actually see. So if we lose, hopefully that's not down to me and Charlie Adam hasn't read too much into it. But no, I think Fleetwood will win 1-0.
Gillingham, I'll take it. Gillingham, Tranmere, I'm going to go for 1-1. Tranmere go and get a point. I've predicted Tranmere to lose every game 2-1 so far this season, apparently. Tranmere fans don't like me.
It's going to be a test for them because Gillingham are good going forward. They got Nevitt back,
Especially
and obviously
got tied at home.
And then Tranmere, they conceded against Carlisle, so I think you're going to concede again. 2-1 Gills.
Grimsby Barrow. I'm going to go for Grimsby 0, Barrow 1. I like the togetherness.
Is that one at Grimsby?
Yeah, I like the togetherness of this Barrow group.
Yeah.
Grimsby won 8 of the last 14 meetings.
I can't see Grimsby not scoring. I'm going to go Grimsby 1, Barrow 2.
Morecambe, Colchester. I'm going to go for Morecambe. They're like buses, right? They're going to come at once, especially when Butler's driving them because he's normally late like this. Morecambe 2, Colchester 1.
Yeah, I knew you're going to go Morecambe's first win.
But then the underdogs are losing. I can't win.
I think your underdogs are going to win 2-0.
6 games without a goal. Oh, who's after that? Us. There we are. Oh.
Yeah.
If anyone shoots from the halfway line, I'm off. Port Vale against Chesterfield. I'm going to go for 2-1 Vale.
Game of the game week, that won't it be?
Yeah, 100%.
At Vale Park. Think they'll get back-to-back wins there. Port Vale 2, Chesterfield 0.
Did I predict? 2-1
Did
Vale.
you?
2-1 Vale if I didn't. Salford Cheltenham, I think Salford win that 2-1.
Say 2-0 Salford.
Walsall Bradford finally. Now, the last time these two played each other, Walsall scored 3 away at Vale Parade and won, and then Bradford scored 3 away at Walsall and won. I'm going to go for 2-1 Bradford. The winning streak continues.
3-3.
3-3? Christ. So the last kind of
3-3.
5 minutes of the stream, if you've got any questions, let us know down below. And please give the stream a like. Do you want to go and give yourself a quick plug, young Jack?
JK Analysis 7 on Twitter. I'll be doing opposition analysis on Carlisle this week. Also, analysing how Wrexham and Stockport have had the start that they have had in League One, and not just Fleetwood content, all around EFL content. So get yourself following and probably not notifications on, because you might get a bit bored of me just waffling on.
Yeah, believe me, I wouldn't even do that. But do you think MK Dons have done some good business? They've done relatively fine. It's still early days. At the moment, you just need to settle in. There's still early days. It's like players need to gel. You need to get into a rhythm. And the season doesn't get going till like October time, that middle of October. At the moment, if I'm honest with you, I'm going to games not feeling as pumped. Like when we win, it's like, yay. It's like, it means nothing at the moment. It does mean something because it means what you focus at the end of the year. But like when it comes to like October, November, you're like, come on, because you can really see something. That's where you build up momentum. I think Luke Molyneux will stay for the full season and get you promoted. Genuinely, I really believe that.
Yeah. Also, back to MK Dons. I think they had the best window of the summer, and changing the style of play, Williamson won't do that. I think he was Gateshead manager. They're a possession-based heavy side, and a young manager, he won't go from possession-based to maybe a more direct approach, because he hasn't got the sort of profiles that he wants to play a different style. The possession-based style does suit MK Dons. And I think with any style of play, there's pros and cons with anything. Obviously, with possession-based football, you can obviously lose the ball in your own defensive third. But then when you go direct, then you'll leave space at the back potentially for a transition. So it's just obviously any system you can have pros and cons. And I think Williamson will have a very successful season with MK Dons this season.
Do you see Flynn lasting the full season? I do. I don't think that Cheltenham can afford to sack him, first of all. And I think that relatively the results, 6 points from 5, although you've lost 3 and the football isn't great you to take. This year was always about stabilising in the EFL, staying up. For me, just try and win games. I know it's hard. You don't want to. I was like that under Scott Brown. I hated going to games, but you'll enjoy it and get results enough. Granted, it's early days. 100%. I think there's about 14 teams from the start that kicked off that could get promoted. I said this to you yesterday, didn't I? When we were going to the game, that you think this team have had a hard run. This team have had a hard run, but you might. We're saying that about everyone, aren't we, at the moment? That this team are having a hard run because they're playing Tranmere or Walsall and MK Dons, and then your Grimsby's, MK Dons, Doncaster's. There's so many teams, isn't there, that can be up there.
Also, the teams that I didn't think that would have started well have actually started well. So then you're looking at the teams that haven't started well, they're like sort of the favourites. So you're thinking, who's going to have a drop-off? Who's going to extend the form, etc. And I think, but I mean, it's like Bromley. People were just putting Bromley in like the bottom 4 or bottom 2 just because it's Bromley, a small club coming from the National League. Like, I've got Bromley 15th because I generally think that they'll extend the National League hard to beat into League 2. And I just think that people have been very lazy with the predictions and just thought it's a small club coming up to the EFL for the first time and just writing them off.
If you gave Bradford Bromley squad, everyone would put Bradford top 12 because the big bad Bradford, right?
Yeah.
Because the Bromley and they've just come up and they're not a big name, they're a small fish. They put them low down. And to say if we had Bradford squad, where would you put Fleetwood? Realistically, would you have us up there? I don't think you would. So that's all I'll say. I think people judge teams off because of the name. So yeah. Anyway, there is the end of today's stream. 70 minutes of League Two action, a bit different for you. This is normally on a Monday night. So if you have enjoyed it, we are live every Monday at 8 o'clock, unless Fleetwood Town are playing, which we are in a couple of weeks for Morecambe. So there'll be no show in 2 weeks' time as well. But thank you so much for watching. Big support, big like, big thanks to Jack.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I've really enjoyed it, as I did last week.
Very much. He's done very well, and he'll get a third show as well. I hope Josh is enjoying his holidays as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please like the stream if on your way out, and subscribe if you haven't already. This is your home of League One, but also now League Two content as well. We're trying to grow it a little bit. Until next time, thank you very much, Jack. Thank you very much to everyone in the chat down below. I've been Cods Vlogs. Up the Cods. Come on.
Up the Cods.
Meepo is scoring 25 goals this year on the way to promotion. Come on.
Tommy Lanigan scoring 40.
2 for 73 for a